Jonathan Tipples has been chairman of HGCA since 2008. He steps down in March this year, and Jonathan joins us today to discuss life before HGCA, with HGCA, and what the future could hold. Hi Jonathan, thanks for joining us today. Why don't we just start finding out a little bit more about you?
Okay, well, I farm in Kent, an all arable farm, but when I joined the farm in the early 70s, it was a very mixed farm. So we had animals and a lot more staff and a much more complicated business, and now it's a very simple, boring business.
Indeed. Okay. So let's elaborate a little bit more on that then. So, HGCA was established in 1965, and this year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. Yeah. Farming has changed a lot in that time. So,
Absolutely.
What do you think have been the major changes for your farming business and arable farming in the UK?
Well, my business has become very much simpler. As I said, we employed lots of staff and lots of casual labour during hop picking and apple picking, and today I just employ one man and a help during harvest and drilling. So it's a really very simple business. Farming, the countryside has changed. There's been a massive change in the makeup of the countryside. 50 years ago, the vast majority of people living in the countryside were involved with agriculture in some way or other. Today, very, very few people are. There's been a massive change, and especially in the east of the country, the main arable areas, very, very few people involved in farming. So it's really important that we, as an industry, keep explaining ourselves to the public, because generally they don't really understand what we're doing.
Indeed. So, although you've been chairman of the board since 2008, you've been involved with HGCA for much longer than that. So how about you give us a bit of an insight on how you got involved with HGCA and how that journey culminated in being chair of the HGCA board?
Okay, yeah. I guess I first got involved with HGCA about 25 years ago, so I've probably been kicking around it for about half its life. I got elected onto the R&D committee from the Kent NFU, and so I went along there. In those days we were based in Archway in London, which was a pretty unsavoury area, and the head of R&D was a chap called Chris Rawlinson, and he used to sit in his office and you couldn't see across it for pipe smoke, and his black Labrador used to sit in his basket under his desk, and it was a very, very matey organisation. And over the years it's become a much more professional organisation, much more focused on delivering what its levy payers want rather than what a few people thought they might want.
Excellent. So, looking back at your time working with HGCA, what would you say would be your number one achievement? What are you most proud of?
Well, since I've been chairman, the most difficult thing we had to do was to move from London to here. On the announcement that we were going to move here to Stoneleigh, the entire senior management team opted to take early retirement, and so we made the whole lot redundant. We were left with no option but to do so. And that was really difficult because it meant that we had to reappoint an entire senior team and all the rest of the staff, because very, very few of the staff moved full-time from London to here. So that was a major challenge, and we've achieved that. And we've got a younger, dynamic, thoughtful, it's just a fantastic team we've got back together here. So I'm extremely proud of that.
Well, looking ahead, you leave at a time of major change for the organisation. AHDB has just announced that it's to further unite its brands, to make the livestock and cereals and crops divisions operate more effectively together as one. So, in your opinion, what's the next thing for AHDB cereals and oilseeds?
Right, well, the immediate thing to do is to explain to the industry that whilst we may well have changed our brand, we may well now be called AHDB cereals and oilseeds, or whatever we can manage to make that sound a little bit slicker, is to persuade them that we will actually continue doing the same things that we've always done. We will continue to listen to their needs, we will continue to deliver what it is the industry needs to move it forward, and so I think that's a piece of work that's probably going to take 12 to 18 months, and that I think is really important we do that.
And in terms of those industry-specific challenges going forward, what do you think will be the next set of significant milestones in arable farming that will shape the direction of the cereals and oilseeds sector?
Okay, well, I think plant breeding is absolutely key. We've all woken up to the fact that the answer to our solutions is not going to come out of a chemical can. I think we got, as an arable farmer, personally, I got lazy. There was always a new solution coming that I could buy in a can, and it would solve my disease problems, my pest problems, my weed problems particularly. And we now know we've hit the buffers on that. That is not going to happen. So we've had 30 years probably of very easy farming. And we've now got a return to better varieties that are more resistant to pests and diseases, better rotations. I think there's going to be an upsurge in understanding more of catch crops and cover crops. I think we're going to see a rationalisation across the industry, not only in the supply industries but in the farming industry. Sadly, we're going to keep seeing farms get bigger and bigger and people farming areas away from their main holdings. I think we should see a growth in remote sensing, in having people having weather data relayed from those remote farms back to them so they get early warning. I think we're going to see a big increase in precision farming. People are going to be much more precise about what they do. And all that is possible. We can see it on the horizon, and that'll all be here in the next 5 to 10 years.
You're obviously passionate about farming and about the future of arable farming in the UK. A key to that is the younger generation.
Yeah.
What top tips would you give a younger farmer to make sure that they are part of a successful arable business?
Okay, well, yes, I am passionate about farming, and I am passionate about seeing the next generation come along. My only sadness is that I'm not about 25, because I think the future of arable farming is really exciting. I think there's a big future. I mean, there are going to be some dips, but I don't think it's a problem. I think the top tip that I would give to a youngster that wanted to farm rather than work within the industry and some other thing, but to farm, is whilst they'll find it jolly exciting playing about with machines and walking crops and doing all the things that people enjoy doing, they really should spend some time focusing on the business. Actually spend some time in the office, crunching the numbers, do some cash flows, try and understand how the business works. Don't be deluded into thinking that you need ever more acres, that you need the farm to get ever bigger and bigger, because that's the key to success. It's not. There are some perfectly good medium-sized businesses out there that are making a sensible profit, running a good business structure because they understand the numbers, and that's really important. They spend as much time in the office as they do playing about with bits of kit.
So, as you hang up your chairman's gavel in April, what are you going to do with all that rediscovered precious time?
I've got no idea, basically. My wife's got a list. Well, it started as a list, it's now become a folder. And I guess I'll have to work my way through some of that. She seems to have convinced herself that I'm going to suddenly go and start growing vegetables on an industrial scale. I'm afraid we're in for a discussion on that. But otherwise, Jason, I've really got no idea. I mean, I'd like to think that the industry will want me to do something else in some other capacity, but if they don't want me to, I mean, I've been kicking around this industry for a very long time. If they don't want me to, if they just want me to go home, then I will do that. So let's see what happens.
You'll always have a role in shaping the future of the arable sector. Jonathan, thanks for joining us today, and good luck with the future.
And good luck to HGCA. I should watch from afar.
Thank you.
Cheers.